Freestyle. Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, we're live. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. Sorry to be late. My apologies. Had a little bit of technical difficulty we're sorting out. But we're here, we're live. Thank God. How are you doing? How is everyone doing? As you join, just share with a friend, let persons know. This is SpurrLIVE Leadership Conversations. Every week we do it here on Facebook and YouTube. We have an amazing conversation with an amazing leader week after week. This week is no different. My name is Wendell Lawrence, and I'm the CEO of Spur Empire Limited. Spur Empire Limited is the own and managing company for SpurOpen.com. SpurOpen.com is an online payment platform, online event management system, the whole works. You can check that out. This week, we're going to be talking with Pastor Chris. You see him on the screen, you see him setting himself up, fixing him glasses, popping him color. We're going to be talking with Pastor Chris from the Go for God Family Church. As you come in, guys, just share with a friend, and we're going to just jump straight in. Pastor, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing, Wendell?
I'm good. I'm good. It's glad to have you. This is probably the first I'm going to talk with you, like talk.
Right,
I mean,
right.
We
talk, but we're not really talk.
Yeah. So, and I'm actually looking forward to this. I'm excited. You see me calling your phone, you see me WhatsApping you, everything good, you're ready. It's just I'm just looking forward to this conversation. And partly because I've done some work with your brother. That's
Colin.
Colin. And I know of the excellence that runs in the family. So I'm just impressed at what I've seen you do with the church that you lead and with the business that you lead as well. So I'm just looking forward to jumping into this. Just to give you a bit of background, and also for the benefit of those who are just joining, what we're aiming to do here is to encourage other leaders, encourage persons who are leaders or who are leadership minded, persons who are maybe in charge of a church, in charge of a ministry, in charge of whatever kind of movement that you're responsible to inspire people. Primarily, we have been talking to church leaders, but the conversations have been helping persons who are not necessarily church leaders. But the context of the conversation is really from the perspective of church leadership, in light of what's happening with how, and the way I put it is how church has evolved. Just by sheer the way that the world has to be adjusting in the way it does things, and church has kind of evolved. PC in the house. Leon, big up yourself. Leon Robinson is here. Yeah. So the first thing I want to ask you, Chris, is describe for me your day. What was your day like today?
Wow. Well, today was an interesting day. On Wednesdays, my Wednesdays are different. My Wednesdays are now my Saturdays, as everybody else Saturday. In that, we actually record our services on Thursday. So basically, I'm preaching tomorrow morning. So
I see.
All of my physical, mental, emotional, spiritual preparation leads up to a point. It leads up to that sermon that I do not on Sunday morning, but now it's Thursday morning, right? So
right.
It's I wake up solemn. I wake up in a word. I have a word that I'm about to preach, so it's on my mind. It's on my spirit. That's all I think about. I generally clear my days. I always clear my days on Saturday, which is now my Wednesday, to only think about one thing. But then life throws everything else at you and everything else that is happening. So, but today I was able to wake early and spend some time in the Word, and all I do on Wednesdays is eat. I try to get a little rest so that I don't have any sleep in my eyes. Like no, them time is when I'm preparing, and I'm working on my word, putting it together, finishing it up, and praying it through, and doing all of those wonderful things for my Thursday morning, which
Sunday.
becomes everybody else's Sunday morning.
Yes,
So
I
that
get
is
that.
what Wednesday is like. Really, it's a day of preparation.
So let me ask you. So that has been the case before COVID.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Oh no. So we were just Sunday morning. We were
Okay.
Sunday morning. So my Saturdays were, my Friday nights I would go somewhere. I do some preparation, out of the house, and then on Saturday all day I'm just kind of finishing up, putting final touches, praying stuff through, and so forth.
So let me ask you something. So let me ask you something. And we have deep diving right away.
Yeah, man.
Describe to me, like at what stage during what's happening with Jamaica? What was happening with 1 second, let me just send out a message here. What was happening?
Yeah.
What was happening in Jamaica? At the time, during the timeline of everything happening, at what point did you say to yourself, "Hey, I need to shift my Saturdays to Wednesdays"? At what point in your own adjustment as a person, as a leader, did you say to yourself, "Oh, all right, no, but this not going to work. I need to shift here. I need to pivot"?
Yeah. Well, so we were going live on Sunday mornings before. So we had here's how it happened. One Sunday morning, let's say early March, I think it was, we are live. It's live Sunday morning. Nobody was in church because everything locked down. But we're going live, right? Worship. We're ready to start worshiping. I'm ready to preach. It's Sunday morning vibe. The room is empty, except those that are going to be doing something. And the internet start messing up, right? So we had this whole where everybody's ready to go on live, and everybody's WhatsApping, we're going with church, we're going with church, we're going with church. Hey, it's the internet is messing up, No, I mean, we had our, when it finally went up, we had 3,000 something views. I mean, so something happened there spiritually, but on that Sunday. But we said, we'll never let that happen again. We can't let that happen again. We can't, the live thing, until we know that we have, enough upload speed and we have let's just record. So we said, let's record because it's the exact same thing. And we just went that next week. We just said, let's do it on Thursday. And we worshiped on Thursday and we preached on Thursday, and I preached on Thursday, and then we pressed the button from a special location on Sunday morning that we knew that we were not going to get cut off. So that's how it happened. We just said, it's too risky going live with the internet service that Jamaica provides. We look forward to doing it again, and we'll be ready. But that's how it happened for us. We were live. People were watching our services live before COVID, but so that's how it happened.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. So on the first day when the announcement was made, the Prime Minister said 20 persons. What was happening? What was happening there in your leadership camp? What was the meetings like? What were you discussing? What were the different factors that were weighing in, etc.?
Well, I mean, here's how I put it. I just said, the Holy Spirit is amazing. In 2019, we were preparing ourselves to go where a lot of American churches were. But prophetically, I preached a message, and the message was called "Go Viral." We're going viral. We're going live.
Yes.
Everything, just getting the church ready.
I remember seeing that all over my feed.
Yeah. So we were really pushing it, just letting everybody know we're about to go live. So at the beginning of the year, we were going live. So when the government said we can't come together, we really only had to mourn and process the fact that we're not gonna see each other, because that's so us going live was just, it was like the cherry on the cake for the fact that we were seeing each other. We have 2 services, both of them were just growing, and we were just so excited. And then all of a sudden, we can't see each other, and all of the momentum that was picking up. We just had a phenomenal January, a great February. We went to 2 services in January, I think it was. So now we have 2 services, and the first service filling up now, and the second service is holding on to the great, to how many people are coming. And that's what we processed. We processed them. We can't be together.
Yeah.
But so I do have to say, God did prepare us. We did not. Our story is a little bit different. We were going live, and we just had to tell people, hey, all we did was we chose a time. So we had an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock. So we just said, hey, just come online at 9. We said, let's just choose 9 in between, good for both. And the people came out, and it was amazing, that first week.
Nice. So like for some Christians, they seeing each other, the laying on of hands, the hugging, Sister Mary is having her son's birthday, you come in or you stay, that kind of thing. How was that morning? How was that processing? What's the feedback like, and how are you as a leader now dealing with that kind of challenge, if there's any?
Well, yeah, I mean, so at first it hits you, right? Like, we can't do it, so you feel bad. But remember now, we never really know how long it was going to last. So we're thinking this could just be 3 weeks. And it could just be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks. We weren't, in faith thinking this thing is going to go on for like 8 months or whatever. So we still thought it was going to be a shot. When it started to feel away now, as you can imagine, is like a month in, online is going amazing, right? And we're like, oh my God, we're getting, 10 times the amount of people that were watching before watching, but we still don't get to see each other. That's when we start to have the real issues of everything shifts in terms of ministry then. In terms of, well, how do you touch? How do you care for? How do you serve? What do we do about Bible studies? What do we do about because everything else has stopped since, church is really not just about the Sunday morning. So we were glad that we could keep the quality of what we gave in terms of the worship and the word. But that's when we started to grapple with how else do we do church? Because there are more people watching, right? But how do we make sure we have their hearts? How do we make sure we minister to them and counsel them and so forth?
Yes.
So that's where the adjustment came.
All right. Okay. So I want to go into the details of some of the solutions you found and some of the things that you implemented. I want to start first of all by you describing for me before the pandemic, before the COVID reality hit. What were your benevolent, your outreach activities? What did they look like? What were you doing as a church in terms of meeting the needs of people and the poor and that kind of thing? How were you doing that?
Right. So all of that has shifted. Yeah. So
no, tell me about before. Tell me about
so all of
what
that
was
shifted.
the norm.
Before, the norm for us was we are very active in our immediate community, right?
And that
that was
where?
That is, we meet at Shortwood Teachers College. So we're up there at the bottom of Norbrook, at the top of Shortwood Road, and we're right in between uptown community and middle class going into lower class community. And but we're on this beautiful campus, and a lot of what we do and the life, it's like I am the chaplain of Shortwood Teachers College. We do, we have, twice a week where we are at the Shortwood practicing primary school. That's like our school. So what hit us was all of the ministry that we do on Thursday mornings at chapel, and just being there with the students, our life and interaction with the Shortwood College, which is a big part of our kind of like our in-reach outreach through mentoring, and helping with needs. And also at the primary school, very, very active with them in, during the week, mentorship program, and, as much as we can, helping out the parents and with needs with the parents. So we were able to go in, touch. In the primary school, we work with the guidance counseling system. So we were able to, obviously very easily, we make a phone call, we find out what they need, anything they need, we try to solve it, as well as the little systems and programs we have in place. But all of that cut now because school closed down, everything is out. And now, so Shortwood Teachers College is a ghost town because most of the students, because obviously, so they have like 70% that live on campus, all of them gone. Wow. All the teachers are gone. So our relationships with the teachers, we have like teachers that are members of the church and stuff, but everybody gone. So our ministry, in terms of our in-reach outreach, is gone. And then with the primary school, everybody gone. And we now don't have easy contact with
Mm-hmm.
the families that we would before. So
Mm-hmm.
that shifted everything in terms of outreach,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody gone and everybody
Yeah.
spread out. And I'm sure you're going to ask it, but the big problem with at the very beginning of this is, well, how do you now give to people? Because you can't touch them, you can't.
Exactly.
How do
Right.
you do it?
Right. Right.
How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it?
Right.
So when you ask me, I'll tell you what we do now. But
So how
that's
do
what we
you?
were doing.
No, no, and so, but what you paint is a interesting reality, because you were serving not just the people who were living in your community, but the
Right.
persons who came to your community to work.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's a different. So the fact that these persons are now quote unquote at home or away from the community, it
The out
may
of our
actually
reach.
import more, and they may have
They're
live
out of our reach.
far outside of the reach or outside of your vicinity
Right.
of influence.
Right. And that's
And that's a
challenging.
very interesting. So the
Yeah.
question is, yeah. So the question is, how do you know give to these persons, not just tangibly give, but how do you go about meeting those needs that you know probably still exist or are able
Mhm.
to meet?
Yeah. Well, we unfortunately, in relation to the Shortwood students, that schema is a little bit different. There is big. They're older, college age, and they're all gone. And the school itself and the guidance, everything is kind of lulled and down, and there's no real way to get to them outside of just those that we have relationship with on
Mm-hmm.
social media, reaching out to them so they can watch the service at least and so forth. But with the
Right.
primary school, the guidance counseling department, they have a lot of contact with their students and families,
Mm-hmm.
more intimate contact with the families, right? So what we did in the very beginning is we said, okay, well, we have to keep doing outreach, we have to keep giving. So what we did was we sent out a letter and said, listen, no, everybody afraid, and okay, everybody feel like everybody have job, blah blah blah. So everybody have all kind of issues with their money, and nobody really feel like them can give now. But we said, listen, some of you still have, some of you have plenty, some of you, this is working good for, and some people making more money because they're on a wholesale, and some people things going well. I said, listen, let us give, let's keep giving, and here's how we're going to give. And interesting. So we were able, so we took some money in. Obviously, we take money in. We call it the Ubuntu fund that people gave to Ubuntu. And what we do with that is we were able to give through the guidance counselor. Ubuntu is an African word. I can preach it
Yeah, I know.
one day.
I know. Good. I mean, I'm into software development, so I know
So,
that.
so then we give it. So we give through the guidance counselor. We had an opportunity to. So let's say she'll say we need 20 families, 20 bags of groceries, kind of a thing. We were able to do that. Also, a couple members in the church being able to give. Like let's say they work at a manufacturing company, a food production company. They were able to get stuff, and then we're able to donate to them. So we were able to do a lot, especially at the very beginning when there was a lot of panic. People were giving stuff. We were able to give through the guidance counseling process there. So that's
Okay.
it's a little bit different. Can I tell you? We enjoy. You kind of like seeing who you're giving to.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of like when before, let's say we would have an event then, and 20 families would show up, and then you give it out, and you can hug them and you can high five them and sing a song and pray or something for them.
Yes.
But you don't get that now.
Yeah.
You're just a gig. So you get to who you trust. So we trust the guidance counselor, the system there, and we just give, and then they just come and pick it up there, because it was about limiting the touches.
Right.
At that point in time, for sure, it was more, everybody's more cautious. So it was like, okay, we can go soup, we can pick up and drop off. People that were giving, they would have drop off points. So that's how we started that way. Another way that we've been giving since then, we are involved with City Life Ministries. That's my other brother, Carrington Morgan. And Carrington, the City Life Ministries down, and he's great to have on this program, by the way. I mean, he's down in the inner city communities across South Kingston. His center is on the south side, big building, indoor football field, community center, all these wonderful things. But he's in all these other communities. And he was in up to about 10 communities and saying, I just need money. right? I did my research. Obviously, he's my brother, so it's close. I mean, they had this system set up where they're getting money and they're going in and they're buying from the wholesales. They have the distribution center, they're packaging, they're bagging, and they're going they because they have ears on the ground, eyes on the ground. They're going into the communities and getting straight to the need. I've walked with him, and I mean they have digital sponsored cell phones, and they're going straight into old people and giving them the phones, and they work through the elders and the dons in the community, and they give through these men. They don't just go in there and give; they give through the guys in the community. And so, as far as what we were able to do is funnel a lot of our increase. People giving money because they're sowing seed, and we funnel that through City Life as well as the Shortwood family.
So you are tapping into, and that's smart. You are tapping into established systems instead of reinventing the wheel. You're tapping into existing systems. So you're working your strength in terms of what you're able to do easily. Keep doing it and beef up how you do it, but then find a way to tap into what other persons are doing and still manage to achieve the overall objective.
Absolutely. I mean, they're doing such a good job. I mean, there's some not so good reasons why ministries want to do things on their own. They want to be seen, they want the PR, they want, also, I mean, some of the good reasons you kind of want to do it. You want to go out and touch people. As the minister, we take people. I know, I want my people to mentor. I want my members to give and to touch and to pray for. So we lose that effect, but we still were able to give. Because we know by giving to an established ministry that has the ability. And here's the issue with what was happening with COVID, especially at the beginning. Unless you had a system that could do it safely, don't do it. I mean, I had one of these big churches, like one of the big churches. I don't even know if you've interviewed this pastor yet, but they called me and they said, Pastor Chris, what are you doing with the giving now? Because it's so challenging. Because let's say them did have a big old kitchen before it have a lockdown, and the way the families would come and pick up and everything changed. So what we found with City Life is they had the system getting to direct needs. So God really has caused us to continue to be a blessing because we found that outlet.
That's interesting. You touched on this a little, but I just want to intentionally bring it out or discuss it. The members now of your church who are not as tech savvy. What ways have you found to keep them fed? And of course I'm talking about the spirit. What you deliver now on Sundays. It's reaching, in my assumption, is reaching the persons who are tech savvy, the persons who have the screen on the phone and they have the YouTube and the TV and etc. But there are those who is the banger phone them used to, and them normally show up at the service to see Pastor Chris hold the mic and do his thing, and so they don't have that now. How are you touching those?
Well, at the very, very beginning, we did as much assimilative research as possible, seeing, trying to say, well, because it's mostly the older ones, because the younger people, no matter how much money them have, them savvy, them have it.
Yes.
So at the very beginning, we saw persons needing to catch up. We did see some people that only have banger and only have, and we were able to say, well, solution for this person, solution for that one. What we found as time has gone on, obviously, is that I don't know how many people are really not on YouTube now. In other words, they're on it. I mean, they're going to find a way. The good thing about broadcasting live on, let's say, YouTube or like what you're doing now, or on Facebook, is that it's still there. So the persons who had an issue with getting online, like in an immediate moment, to catch something that they would lose, now they can get on. If you can't get on Sunday because you don't have the right phone, then on Monday when they go into work or when they go into another place or when they go over them friend yard or whatever, then they can watch it. So, truth be told, we did have, we do have persons that just were not ready with a computer, with regular service, or with a phone or something. But Wendell, what has happened? What COVID has done, it has gotten everybody savvy. So
Yes,
by
it
now,
has pushed you right up to
oh
the fence
Lord, by
and
now
over the
everybody's
fence.
there. I mean, everybody there.
Yes,
Everybody's watching now. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that season didn't last long, to be quite honest. The people, they
right,
found the money, they bought the phone. I
yeah.
mean, you must have, people that never felt like, well, they never have money to buy like a phone.
It
Like a
became a need.
$15,000
It
phone.
became a need,
It
and they
became
reached up,
essential,
the
right?
hierarchy of needs.
And then they did it. Yeah.
Um. All right. So what I want to talk a little bit now about family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're married.
Yes,
Can,
sir.
what's the name of your wife?
My wife is Marsha Gay Morgan.
Great.
Marsha
And how
Gay.
long now you have been married?
9 years. We've
And
been
how many
married
kids?
9 years. We have 2 kids. Two daughters. Amara is 5, and Malia is 2.
And you are doing boy, people joining here, man. Marsha Morgan. Let me see.
Sarah, there,
Marsha, what did you say your wife's name was again?
that is her.
Present. Present. Big up yourself, Mrs. Morgan. I see
Yeah,
Alison Dexter. I see Nadine Blair. I see a bunch of people signing in. Hey guys, say hi, say hi. Pastor seeing you. Right. So you also run a business.
yeah.
And the name of your business is Winking.
Winking. One word. Winking.
Oh, right, Wink, right, one word, right. Clear to note that. So, all right, so in a synopsis, just tell me about that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that business.
Okay. Well, my business is a blessing. I have become a businessman. I studied business. I am a man of the cloth. I'm a church man. But this business kind of fell into my lap. I had a desire. I was doing something as a hobby, and then it blew up. I was feeding people wings, and then people wanted to buy them, and it just kept growing from there creatively. And now we have two restaurants, 2 locations, one on Conscience Spring Road and one in Ligani. And
Okay.
we sell chicken. So we sell whole lot chicken. We sell the grilled chicken, the fried chicken. But what everybody goes there for is the wings. They come for the
Wings.
wings, and they come for the sauces that go on the wings. And of course, we have all of these assortment of sides. The fries and the wedges, and we have these things called macaroni and cheese balls and sweet potato balls and so forth. The Ligani store sells Devon House ice cream, and it has been an exciting journey. For that, I ask God why, because I'll be okay. I'm here to do church. I'm here to be a pastor and to pastor and build church and so forth and build the kingdom. But God says this is something you need to keep, hold on to, don't sell it, don't get out of it. Keep going. I believe that now I can relate to a lot of what a lot of my church people go through,
Mm-hmm.
and just and the trials. Now you can ask me, well, how did your business survive through COVID? And that's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
You know.
because that's where because I'm talking to Christopher Morgan, who is a
Mhm,
pastor, a father, a husband, and a
mhm,
businessman.
mhm.
And here's a global pandemic now
Yeah.
that affects all of those factors in some way or the other.
Right.
So
Right.
so
Right.
I'm really finding out about your business to kind of set the context for my next question, which is how did Christopher manage now? how does how does Christopher, the human being, um deal with the challenges that are coming on now? One, what you said, one of your daughters is 5. How old is the other one again? Remind me.
Two. Two.
2. So
Mhm.
they are at home. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I have a baby who's a couple of months, and I have a 10-year-old son who's going to be 11 in a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
And having them at home in this time is a challenge in and of
Yes,
itself.
it is. Yeah.
You're doing that. You're running a business, and you're doing church. How are you coping? What are some of the tools, whether psychological, emotional, spiritual? What are some of the tools that you use as a lead, as a human being, to cope?
Mhm. Well, I think my I mean, I can tell you spiritually first, and then tell you just practically after. Are you hearing me clearly?
One second, Pastor. The audio on this. No, the audio on this is a bit guys, if you can you hear us clearly? Let me know. Just say something if you can. I think Pastor's feed is frozen. You can need some help here. Dana, is there anything we can do from this side?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
One feed is broken.
How does it sound now?
All right, just give us a second. Let us see if we can start it out. Oh, you so Leon is saying, can you hear me, Pastor? Speak again, Pastor.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
It's distorted. Distorted.
I heard it getting distorted while you were talking. Yes.
So, in the meantime, guys, just comment in the chat if you're liking what you're hearing. I'm doing this conversation so far with Pastor Chris. It's interesting. What is intriguing so far is how he has found a way to leverage systems of entities. You know, sometimes as church people, to, you know, as I said, have good reasons, some good reasons, some not so good reasons of want to do things ourselves. But I'm started. I'm distorted. No. All right, Pastor, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you, but you are distorted.
All right, look, guys, if you're hearing Pastor clearly, I want you to go ahead and answer the question that I asked earlier. Well, I had to start off and feed. What you said, you hear Pastor clearly?
Yeah, so when you were talking before, you started to chip out just a little bit before I started. But I still didn't know if it was me or you. Well, in the name of Jesus.
Oh, what is like this? This is and the desert told me has blessed players.
Hey, Andrea.
Do I need to often come back on? No, I need to indirectly. Do I need to come back on again?
Yeah, maybe you can refresh while she stays on.
Okay, guys, we're going to be right back. Oops, we're going to be right back. We're just going to allow Wendell to refresh. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Andrew. Family, regular visitor. Hey, PC. Hey, Marsha. Hi, Allison. Hi, Valerie. Welcome, guys. We're going to get the conversation going very soon. We're just going to allow Wendell to rejoin the conversation. If you guys are enjoying this, go ahead and just type 1 in the chat. Who is that? Zolas. Welcome, Zolas. Welcome to SpurrLIVE Leadership Conversations. This is episode 16, guys. Can you believe that we are on episode 16 of SpurrLIVE? So we're just going to give Wendell. Yeah, we've been having some really good conversations. All right, Wendell is back. He's just getting his audio and his camera connected. And then we're going to be right back in the conversation. Zolas, I see your one. Andra, I see your one. Andra said it's been really good. We have been having some awesome conversations. Thank you, Zolas. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Great conversations. We're so happy to hear that you guys have been enjoying this. So, by the way, if you have missed the previous 15 episodes, they are all live on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, we have Wendell back. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Wendell, you good now? You are muted, sir.
And they can watch it by just going to SpurrLIVE, Spur Open.
Yes, if you go to Spur Open on Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to see the replays of the previous sessions.
Okay.
Hi, Anne, welcome. Hi, Rochelle, welcome. Yes, Sir Lawrence, you are back and in living color. Go ahead and talk for me. Let me make sure you are good.
Right. I've decided to join from my phone. I think there's an issue with my laptop. So I'm using my cell phone. So that the image may shake a bit. Pardon that. Let me see if I can just rest it here.
Brilliant. There we go. Okay. Bye, guys.
Awesome.
Go back.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, Pastor. Right. So
No problem.
I was asking you about you and what kind of tools you use. And this is really,
Yeah.
I'd like you to answer this question as if you're speaking to an audience of young leaders, young married men, young business owners, young pastors, or persons who would do well with insight as to how do you go about coping and dealing with these kind of challenges.
Okay. Well, I'm very excited about my overall paradigm. I think when the pandemic hit, I was thrown into a faith-filled paradigm that told me that this was not going to be all bad. You know, there's only a little bit of time between bad news and good news. You know, those were the messages that were coming to me. I went to church that next Sunday. I said, listen, we are going to not just go through this, but we're going to grow through this. And I said, you're going to come out on the other side of this with more than you're going in with. And, you know, God just filled me up with faith and a perspective that said, open your eyes, because in the middle of what the enemy is doing, or in the middle of what God is allowing, there's so much good. There's too much. There's a lot of good for you to see. It's that old rubric that says, when there is crisis, look for the opportunity, right? And I was talking very practically. So we did that. We did that in our staff meetings. We did that in our business meetings. And still trying to do it at home with my wife and thing. But the thing is, listen, God is up to something. Don't think this is just the devil. God is up to something. What can you do? What can you see? What is going to come out of COVID? And a lot of people that have caught on to that word have found things, Wendell. For instance, like I think what you're doing here now is new and great, and it had to have been done, but you were doing some other good stuff before, but now you're doing other good stuff. So that's what kept me, that perspective. I'm still trying to ride that. I'm saying, if I can finish 2 books before the season done, then I can say, well, is the season help me push the book out? In other words, I have time. COVID is opening up time. We have time on our hands. The question is, what are you going to do with the time that you're given? That's one of the benefits to this whole thing. It was keeping us. It still is keeping us at home and causing us to be a little bit more efficient with our time. So my overall perspective was one of, God is up to something, and I need to see it. I need to hear it. I need to see it. There's some stuff you wanted me to do before that I need to get done now before this thing opens up. And all of a sudden, church, it's back to what we thought was normal, And I told the people, we're not going back to normal. Stop waiting for it to get to the way it was before. Stop waiting for this thing to be over, because God is calling you to something better and newer and different. So I preached that a couple of times. That was in me. So that helped me. Practically, I was able to apply that to my business. Interestingly enough, my business, in the restaurant business, while everybody was mashing up, we were already a 24-hour delivery business, fast food, 24-hour delivery. So we kind of were able to ride out the time. So give God thanks for that. One of the things practically you have to do is you have to make sure your relationships with your employees are better, love on it. So we were able to ride our good relationships. People that couldn't work as much, we just taught them through it, helped them through the time. So practically, just being a good employer, and we were able to write our business model was already set up. In terms of family, Wendell, it poses an extremely real challenge. This issue of working from home a lot. My wife works in the church and in the business, so she's working from home. The girls are home all day, and that's a big problem. So the practical answers are you have to take breaks. You have to get rest. You have to try to get out of the house in the safest way possible. Go somewhere, go walk road and come back, carry them out. We are still in the thick of it. Nothing has shifted. They're still home. Still, it's summertime, but they're still home. So utilizing grandparents, and we send them off to their grandparents also this week for a couple of days, and it was ministry to us because we get each other alone. I know tired of, my wife might be tired of me. I'm not tired of her, but she might need a break from me. So we do have to be practical, and we need to find a way to give space, find a way to create space when you're all up in each other's space. So, boy, practically we're still in the thick of it. Trying to find ways to get relief, rest, some recreational activity that is outside the house at least, and so forth. But I still think it's very challenging for most people.
Yes.
Because there's really, after you go road and walk a little bit, and you go to a restaurant that you feel is safe, or you go to grandparents' house, or there's still a lot of limited interaction with other people. That we're still all over each other, still in the house together. So we're still in the middle of it, praying and trying our best to work through.
But you said something that is interesting. The perspective that you have going in, the perspective that you have as you go through, will make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And how you make simple decisions as you go through. Just the very perspective you have, which is inspiring, as an interesting thought. How do you go about making the unpopular decisions? All right, so let me contextualize this question. So recently we've heard in the media a lot of talk about church. There are some churches that are not following the protocols. They are not and for whatever the reason they choose to not do it, and there were some apparent consequences. No, as a leader, as the leader of your church and even your business, you would be faced with the challenge of making some tough decisions, some decisions that are unpopular based on where you sit, based on the bird's eye view you have. How do you go about making those decisions and sticking to those decisions?
Well, so we have a board. We have an oversight board, and we also have elders. So I sit really in between a great set of leaders. And interestingly enough, we just chose from the very beginning, even though we're very much like, we're really regard ourselves as cutting edge, and like we're gonna step outside of the box, and we're gonna what's new, what can we do, we're really driven. Like, I'm very, 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 very driven to do something different and new one. But there was also the very real thought that we just have to stay safe, and we have to keep the people safe. So we wanted to have some, drive-through church, and we have all these ideas of how to bend the law, and we can get the people in there, have some people inside, some people outside, and how we can do it, and all these kind of things. We just decided that we're going to stay safe, right? And we have not yet, Wendell, I don't know if you know, but we have not yet had church. We have not resumed church. We are
based on your explanation as to Wednesday, Saturday, and Thursday,
exactly.
Sunday.
We haven't started back.
We're
close. We're close. We're really, really close. Because we are now almost ready to start back on Sunday mornings. But even when we do, everything will look the same. It's just that it's going to be live instead of
Right.
pre-recorded. But we're not ready. And then especially now with what is happening, and there are more cases now than before. It's just not really time yet for us to be risky or to go on like we're bad. And so well, because we have faith, we're better than bad, and it's been okay. Honestly, the if our Sunday morning expression was challenged, I think that may have made us make silly decisions. But what is happening on Sunday morning, in that people are logging on, they're live chatting, they're connecting on Sundays. We feel the people a little bit, and then of course the viewership is way beyond what we thought it would be, and we have people tuning in from because that is still very healthy and strong, and we think very productive and touching the people. We have not felt the need to say, well, let's stretch it, let's try and get the people them in and so forth. We do look forward. I mean, let me tell you, desperately. I want to get, if it's because we would have to, based on the numbers, and we would have to only be able to have 100 people in the room. I'm ready to say 100 people, and I'm ready to do that twice or 3 times to get people to be able to come out. But our leadership is quite fine with waiting a little bit,
Okay.
and connecting to people in other ways.
Right.
Connecting to people in other ways. That has been very, very strong as well.
So do me a favor, Pastor. I want you to just spend like about a minute or 2 and just give impromptu, of course, encouragement to anybody who is watching this, and primarily Jamaicans who are experiencing COVID. Jamaican Christians, Jamaican citizens who want to see good. Just give a short encouragement to those persons about how they go forward, how they pivot their life, how they look at what's happening, and still live.
Wow. Okay. Well, what jumps out at me is the scripture that says, "Hey, behold, I'm doing something new. It's coming. Do you see it? It's here." Of course, he says before that, "Forget the former things. I'm doing something new. Do you see it? It's right here. I'm going to make a way, in the wilderness. I'm going to make a path through the desert." What I'm saying is that no matter what is happening around us, and even more so during a time of crisis and challenge, of drought, of dryness, however you will describe the challenge you're going through, it is those times that I believe God is crying out and saying, listen, I want to do something new. This is what I'm good at. This is when I shine. It is in the darkness, right? So I believe that God wants you to see something. I believe God wants us to see something there that we would not otherwise have seen. I believe he's showing us something. I believe he has something for us that's new. It's a new system. It's a new mindset. It's a new product, a new service. It's new partnerships with persons. It's a new media format, right? It's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of being. What I discovered is that a lot of people, they want to improve, but they don't want to change. And the issue is that if you're going to improve, it demands change. I mean, the first thing that's going to happen when you improve is change. You're going to have to change. So, are you looking for the change that God is offering? That's what I'm asking people. God is trying to bring change. Why? Because so change is here, right? And out of the change, God wants improvement. I do not want anybody that is listening tonight to go back to the way life was before. That would be horrible. What I'm saying is that Spur not going back to where they were before, right? When things taper off, Spur is going to be at a different level. Who was at that level before where Spur was? Can't see Spur again because Spur has gone into some new stuff, right? And it has lifted everything else that they were before to a whole new level, right? God is showing us new, Wendell, and I know that you're looking for it. I know you see it. I can tell, but I want everybody else to see it, right?
Yeah.
Again, let me just say, and these are just coming out. I mean, there's some synergies. There's some partnerships. Before this, some people weren't willing to partner with some people. Now they need to. Before this, some people weren't willing to get training and development in the new stuff because they were set in the old stuff and they were good enough at old. And you know, some people didn't want to expand their thinking. Some people were sitting down and not being innovative with their products, being innovative with their services. Some people were saying, for instance, make the people them come to me if they want the thing. Now, they have to take the thing to the people, right? We do. I think a lot of people are waking up, and it's waking up to something new. It's like, you know, there is a gift there to be received in the midst of it, and so I want people to see it. I want people to wake up and see it, and you know, to know that it's there and to wake up and start looking for it. Pray for it. Say, God, show me what is new. Speak it. Just declare it. Say, I'm going to step into new, you know, and allow and see what God does, because I believe there are some things there that that we are the ones that need to shift in this and improve through this.
Long ago, I love that, by the way. I love that, by the way. I'm sorry, I just jumped ahead, but I love that. Long ago, they when the children of Israel, not the children of Israel, the early church were persecuted, and as a result, they spread all over the world. And of course, if me have flu and me spread go somewhere else, me I go carry the flu with me. So if I have a good message, I have a message about this man that came and saved and died, and so when I go live in another place, I'm going to share it with my new neighbors. So as a result, the whole gospel of Christ spread because, or one of the change factors was the persecution. Was the fact that they were persecuted in one location, so they dispersed, and so the message was dispersed with them. This COVID thing now, as you rightly alluded to, has challenged a lot of churches to disperse, you know. My question to you is, and this is really a question from bringing out the visionary in you. What do you envision? And let me also add a little bit of context. So we know that there are different churches who have different styles that meet different kinds of needs. In Jamaica, there, you know, you have one church that has a particular style and they meet a particular need. Another church has a particular style and they need a particular need. They do church a certain way to meet, a need that exists, a particular kind of need that exists. I'm asking about you now, as Christopher. What is your vision of church? Not the ecclesia. I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about the individuals that call out. So the Christ's vision of church remains the same. But when you as a pastor now are executing church and the way how the ecclesia impacts and brings the kingdom, describe your version of that. Describe what that looks like for you 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What does the futuristic church looks like in your head?
Okay, I think we're getting a good picture of what. So what is happening now, 6 months ago would have scared the life out of us. But what I think is happening, what I think the future is demanding, is that leaders and leadership, and the people too. I know you want to talk about leaders and leadership, but the people, like you said, the people that wasn't savvy, right? What is happening now is causing leaders to have to be better or be different. A pastor a couple months ago would have just had to be ready to do like a Sunday morning service, and he had to be good to, you sit down and do life counseling, sit down and do a one-on-one counseling, and so Now you have to actually be conscious of different things. I mean, practically, you have to look in the camera. You have to be able to preach when nobody's there and still preach good. Listen to me. And so you have to become. Why? Because we have an opportunity. The future is opening an opportunity for me to preach on Sunday, get over 1,000 people to hear it one time. So I have to speak to a different audience. You get me? So I'm not just speaking to go for God anymore. I'm speaking to everybody that come into work. And then now it is recorded and people can watch it after. Most people don't understand. People that are, you're just watching a man preach, you don't understand. It's different depending on, when you go to God for a word, you're going to God for a word for who you're preaching to. So this is calling leaders to go to God for a word, a rhema word with a different audience. Okay? Yeah. It's also causing you to have to become better because you can give out a better product. You now have to preach something that they are going to hear and be able to watch 6 months from now. Most pastors never care about that. Them could have said something they want to say today, and if it's foolishness, them don't have to think about it again. But now you can't say foolishness because it will live with you. Everything is recorded. Everything is up on a platform. Now these are good things. So it's just being ready for the whole watch anytime thing. How the future demands that we become better, that we speak to a larger audience. The future demands that we package everything better. People are binge watching now. So you have to preach sermon series. People, they don't want to watch an hour and a half message. They will not watch it. Right? Have to give, right. So you have to be shorter. Either you are going to change to you're not changing the word, you're changing how you package it. And the future demands that I preach for half an hour. And when somebody goes on, what they do now is they'll go on and they'll say a sermon series, like it says Gold Digger, and they'll watch part 1, part 2, part 3 one time, or like one night, one the next night, and that just like how we binge watching TV. But they will not sit down and watch you if it's an hour and a half. It's really, really weird. So the future is demanding that the church shift. Let me just tell you, go a little bit deeper. Everything has shifted. Counseling has shifted. Bible studies have shifted. And I think it has gotten better if you've gone there. I'm doing more counseling now than before. The cost for counseling is in other words, it's just a click. We've already paid for the internet, so I don't have to buy it. If I'm meeting with a man, I would have lunch with him. I don't generally have lunch with a woman, but I have a lunch with a man and eat a chicken and talk to him. And nowadays we're just right online. Boom. The time that we give is shorter. We don't have to get ready. We don't have to. You make sure you look good. You sit down. Yeah, it's an hour. It's not 20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes to get home.
Right.
So you can. So we are able. The future calls us to some efficiencies in a lot of areas, right? Some cost savings in a lot of areas, in terms of where we would rent a room or have a room, the cost for preparing a room, security for a room. Right now we're just a Zoom, and you just pay Zoom. You don't pay for the room. That rhymes. But the point is, what church would do is you'd have to feed. You have more than 15 people come together. You have to have some bully beef sandwich and some water and some Kool-Aid. No, you don't have to because we're all online. Everybody feed themselves. So there's some benefits. And I think some people are still not there yet. But it does. The future does look great for the church. What gathering means, there is some efficiencies that are available to us: time, money, those kinds of things. Once you have a good internet connection, we go online. Here's another thing. We've started to see certain persons that we were inviting to church before that were not coming, that are coming now. But this says, Wendell, we have to think about why. Why is it that my friend, let's say Joe, wasn't coming to church, but he's watching every Sunday online? It is because he gets to be in the environment, he gets to worship, he gets the word, he gets to feel the sense of live, without judgment, right? No matter what mood he's in, right? Without all the relationship issues.
I have to cut you there because you're touching on something now. You touch on it right as we should be closing the broadcast. But you're touching on a very something I find very intriguing, that what happens now, and Sister Valerie on the chat just says we have to re-engineer how the gospel is propagated. What happening is now is that the same thing that you mentioned earlier in your talk, in your response, that preachers have to now be conscious of what you're saying, because what you're saying can be up for scrutiny and it's going to be there. And so what happens is that a lot of the fluff it doesn't make it online because you're not conscious in your thinking. And I think that the same thing that you mentioned about Joe and his apprehension before now, he was turned off by the fluff. He was turned. There are a lot of Joes who were turned off by the fluff because a lot of the Joes are thinking people, and they're thinking about what you're saying, and they're realizing that what you're saying is fluff. And I'm searching to find the substance in what you're saying. But now that we're online, because we're forced to repackage it, he can now relate. He can now say, he can now be in a state of mind to say, all right, let me sit down and hear, as opposed to let me think about what I'm going to wear and what was said to me the last time I turned up.
That's it. Yeah.
It's very interesting that you said that.
Yeah. So all of these different components are great. You know, the fact that you can watch as much of it as you want. Somebody will watch this in 2 parts. You know, this talk tonight. They'll watch first part, then go eat a food and come back. Go use the bathroom and come back. And they won't miss anything. The ability to watch something over and over and over. A lot of people are watching, let's say, there are people who watch how many views they get, how many likes they get, and there's some other people who watch how many people rewatch, right? We need to start looking back at that. How many people are rewatching? So they listen to the worship, you know. So, 300 people watched worship on Sunday. Nice. But how many people came back and watched the sermon again? That's how you know, right? So how we assess, we're having to reassess how we assess, and it's going to be interesting to see. So I'm excited about the future. I think whatever it is, let's run for it. I believe that Spur is going to take us into the future and be cutting edge, and I pray that Go for God is right there with you, and that we're taking Jamaica into the future, technologically and spiritually.
Awesome. Pastor, I thoroughly appreciated your time. I thoroughly appreciated you here. We're over the 1 hour mark. I really appreciate the guys for sticking, guys. Thank you so much, Andrea McCurdy, Alison Dexter, and Blake. Big up yourself. Rachel Reed, Zolas. Present. Valerie Reynolds, Leon, guys, thank you so much. Mrs. Morgan, great to have you watching your husband as we talk through this. Sean, guys, guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciated this talk. I'm really inspired just by you are in some respects living the dream. You know, from my perspective, Pastor, you know, being able to live out a business passion, you know, participate effectively, I would assume, in a family, and lead a church, you know, that covers up pretty good deal of what human beings tend to aspire to, you know.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So you be encouraged. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Guys, look out for next week. We may just have a surprise for you next week. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. That's it from us for tonight. Have a good night.
Later, Wendell. Bye, everybody.
Respect.